Okay, so today I'm doing an unboxing and review of the Marimo moss balls, which I purchased on Amazon. Now, I wanted to add something to my fish tank, and I didn't want to plant it, but I wanted it to be a live, growing, green plant. This is the box that it came in. UPS dropped it off today in freezing cold weather, and this did not have any special handling instructions on it. It just came like this, so I was kind of surprised, but everything looks good, nothing looks frozen. And it actually looks like it comes from a place called Air Plants and Marimo Moss Balls by Mail, but it is Aquatic Arts was the company that I purchased it from. Inside there comes a quick start guide on this card. I highly recommend that you follow these instructions to the letter to make sure that these moss balls get off to a good start before you put them in your fish tank or wherever else you're going to put them. So let's open the box and see how they came. I ordered, of course, a collection of them. This is the first time I've ever purchased them, and I'm kind of impressed. Look in here. They are damp. They're not soaking, dripping wet. Nothing's frozen again. Good result there. And I'm just checking them out. I expected these to be pretty small, and of course they're not perfectly round right now because they've been packed in here. It kind of looks like there should be some kind of framework inside these, but there really isn't. The way this stuff actually grows, it starts small and just kind of tumbles around and has this spherical shape to it, and then the greenery just continues to expand outward, and they grow about 5 millimeters a year, so this is kind of slow growing stuff. I'm impressed. Number one, they sent me more of these moss balls than were in the listing on Amazon, and everything looks like it's in really good shape. Do not take these right out of the packaging and throw them in your fish tank. There's some intermediate stages, and I'm going to go through all of that with you. This is the largest one. Look at this thing. It's really big. Of course, it looks kind of like a brick right now, but once you put it in water and soften it up, it will return to its spherical shape. And I'm going to show you all of those steps. And just to get out the tape measure here, and let's do a comparison. Yeah, they're big. So over 2 inches in diameter. Even the way it is right now, there's kind of a short side and then a long side, but eventually it puffs right out. Now the water that I'm dropping it in, this is important. Do not pull water out of your tap that is chlorinated and treated and drop these balls into it. I'm putting this in very filtered well water, which has no chlorine or any other additives. So it's just filtered. I recommend you get, bottled water or something like that, or just get the water right out of your fish tank. You probably want to make sure that it's not warmer than 78 degrees. According to the instructions, these things don't do well higher than 78. The tank I'm going to put them in is 76. Now, they look pretty good to me. I don't see a bunch of brown spots, and I've read about things to watch for. It did kind of dirty the water a little bit, so I rinsed and changed this water several times during this 30-minute plumping process. And you have to leave it in the water for 30 minutes, so I'm going to set the timer just to make sure that we're right on the money there. And here they are. I have them in large beakers so we can kind of show them off. And they're doing their 30-minute thing, so this is a great time to evaluate them and make sure that nothing came with them that shouldn't be there. You can see some little materials floating around in the water here, and it's sitting in a large 3,000 milliliter beaker. And these balls look pretty good. I'm told that sometimes companies will ship you these things torn in half and then they roll the halves up to look like balls. These definitely came as complete spheres, so I don't see any fancy footwork from the seller here where they tried to make more balls than existed. Some of the patches here do look a little light and pale in color, and then there are brighter green areas. You can see some brown on the back of this one. I can't really complain though, because they gave me extras, and the rest of them all look perfect. So what I'm showing you in this video sequence is actually the worst of the bunch, even though it is large. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to put this in my fish tank anyway. Notice that they're floating. That will change later, and I'll explain why. Count down to 9 minutes here. Again, it's time to look over your stuff, make preparations for putting them in your tank. And notice now they're all on the bottom. If you see these things floating on the surface, that's because they built up some air pockets inside during shipping or when they've been handled out of the water. After that 30-minute cycling period, you can squeeze the air out of them, and then of course they'll go to the bottom. Now I dropped them right in the fish tank. And they do roll around a little bit like tumbleweeds if you have a strong current in your tank. This tank is 54 gallons. And these moss balls are supposed to help compete with algae for resources, so it should result in algae reduction in your tank. What do you have to feed them? Nothing. You just put them in the water. If you had them in a tank that did not have fish, you may have to do something else, rinse, change the water, things like that. But this is a full system that's well balanced, and I expect these moss balls to do great. And if you notice, I've tucked them up in little driftwood areas, so you see them off the ground. You can tuck them in places, and supposedly they'll adapt their shape and grow into those locations, so you can round out your fish tank with these little Marimo moss balls. Very happy with my purchase. I think they're great. The quality's good, they're healthy, and follow those instructions and wring them out after 30 minutes and put them in your tank. Good to go. Thanks for watching.